Ah, you've got to love transfers. Blind, out of Germany are saying Arsenal are now seriously considering Hugo Ekitike. Andrea Berta doesn't want to spend 100 million on a striker. What else have we got in that regards? Hugo Ekitike is a serious option for Arsenal. Voices are saying if Arsenal cannot negotiate a price for Gyökeres or Benjamin Sesko and a higher fee would be required for a new striker anyways, Ekitike will become a real attraction. Now, granted, they might know something in relation to Frankfurt and Hugo Ekitike that we don't. But the first thing I would say is it any coincidence that, we have been linked with Sesko, Gyökeres, and everybody else? We hear Ollie Watkins is the third choice, which I don't know what that means for Hugo Ekitike. But 1 minute, Leipzig are playing hardball with Sesko, so we're going for Gyökeres. The next minute is, Sporting are acting up. Leipzig are bending their demands. Sesko's the one. This is another one being thrown into it, like of the belief that we're not going to get either of the names I said. Then you've got Hugo. Then you look at Hugo Ekitike. You're hearing Chelsea tried to get him. A lot of teams tried to inquire, and they're saying they want 100 million. Rightly or wrongly, if you've got a striker in today's day and age, and actually a left winger, but especially a striker with the striker market, to us as fans, we'd struggle for 20 different ranging strikers that are all top quality. So whether you think Gyökeres is good or he can't do it in the Portuguese league, whether you think Sesko's got potential, but you wonder if he's going to do things, and any other talking point with Hugo Ekitike, for instance, he was at PSG and he's gone Bundesliga, there's going to be some baggage around him or some questions. But naturally, if you've got one of these players, especially if you're going to sell it to a British club, you're obviously going to want to pay through the nose. If you're seeing that Sesko is getting anything as low as 60 million to as high as 100 million, Gyökeres the same, you're going to want that for Hugo Ekitike. So I just think this is a bit of creative journalism. For what it's worth, I think he is a good player. Would not cry if we got him. Don't really buy this as well, especially because Leipzig are probably going to get rid of Xavi Simons and maybe some other people in addition to Sesko are going to leave. Gyökeres, or better yet, Sporting Lisbon. I think Diamande is going Crystal Palace. A number of their players away from Gyökeres are linked with people. But, Frankfurt probably going to lose, Hugo Larsson for a decent fee. Not too long ago, a couple months ago, the beginning of the year, they sold Marmoush for what I'd say is a decent fee. So maybe their negotiating hand is obviously stronger. I don't know, but let me know your thoughts. Would you want Hugo Ekitike, Sesko, Gyökeres, or Watkins? Where do they all rank for you lot, people? So I'm not sure to believe that. And also, again, I'm sure we're all bored of this, but apparently the Sporting president once again smashed the like button and spoken again. I'm not going to say what the price is when referring to Gyökeres. The player knows what it is. I can tell you that Gyökeres won't leave for 60 million euros plus 10 million euros. He won't. He just won't. So the games are continuing, and we're seeing the president speak, the agent speak, Gyökeres speaking via social media, the threat of potential strikes. It is turning ugly. Fair enough. Sporting are more than within their rights to try and get as much money as they can, people. It is what it is. He said they don't need to sell him. They probably don't. On the face of it, you just won the title. You're going to be playing Champions League. You're going down in Sporting folklore. But so they don't. And he's got a release clause. Pay or you can't get him. But reality is they do. This is a dark cloud hanging over Sporting. It's turning messy. I think even the most lover of Gyökeres at Sporting just says, you know what, get your money, source your replacement and keep it moving. Unfortunately, we're past the stage of selling our main asset, but we're still sensitive to the dreams of Victor or any other player. Sporting has a compromise in which after weeks of meetings, it's not asking for the value of the clause. It's going to be reasonable. So this just tells me Gyökeres and his camp have been told a fee and they think it's probably too expensive when you're trying to entice an Arsenal, Chelsea, Man United, Napoli, all of these other clubs. That just tells me we want the money. I don't know where you think this release clause, this gentleman's agreement thing came from, but we just want the money. You can go. And again, it is a bit of gamesmanship. Personally, I think Gyökeres is the one we want, people, but it's fighting talk from Sporting. They basically said they'll compromise. They don't need to sell. They won't be intimidated by any club or the agent. They won't be intimidated by any sort of threats. This isn't anything we didn't necessarily know. In recent weeks, we've been keeping a close eye on things. I saw a player called Zubamendi, who is 6 months younger than Gyökeres, leave for 65 million euros. I saw Matthias Cunha go to Manchester United for 75 million euros. Interestingly, Cunha did go to Man United. Arsenal did sign Zubamendi, or about to. Those two football clubs have been linked with Gyökeres. So there's probably some other examples he could have used, but it's interesting he said them. We're talking about 26-year-old players. I believe Victor can leave unless he has the worst agent in the world, which I don't believe. He's one of the best players in the world. So they think, you know what, striker market, we've got a decent player. We want to get our money, especially when you've got British clubs sniffing around. And it is quite conflicting because I think clubs in Britain, they like Gyökeres, they want him, and I want him at Arsenal. I just think they feel he's a bit overvalued. Also, at the same time, apparently this Suarez is the one they want to replace Gyökeres. So maybe when he's through the door, there'll be a bit more clarity about this individual's future. Keeping up the theme with transfers, but different position, centre half. Apparently, Arsenal would submit a new bid for Christian Mosquera and hope to complete a deal for around 20 million euros. After their opening bid worth 14 million euros was rejected by Valencia, according to Romano, Arsenal have already reached a full agreement on personal terms for the player. It's believed Leipzig are now considering 60 million a more realistic price tag when looking at Benjamin Sesko. So when you compare that one to Gyökeres, probably gives you food for thought. Reports in Spain are saying our first offer of around 15 million euros, which equates to about 14 odd, was rejected by Valencia last Friday. Arsenal are willing to reach an offer worth 20 to 25 million euros, which includes 3 to 5 million euros in performance-related bonuses, which is decent. Apparently, Gyökeres has given the green light to go to Manchester United after Arsenal appear to be moving away. We have seen previous reports that Arsenal is the team he wants. This, according to reports in Italy. Reports in Italy about a player that plays in Portugal, about what a team that wants to buy him in London is doing, and he's Swedish. I'm not, football's universal, but the primary source hasn't come out of Portugal, hasn't come out of local radio in Sweden, hasn't come from the trusted sources at Arsenal. You know, the only thing we look at with Gyökeres is Romano saying the same thing 8 times a day that we have interest. And obviously David Ornstein many a month ago now saying Andrea Berta likes him. Beyond that, haven't seen anything. The only thing we do know as just normal armchair experts, Arsenal like Sesko, been chasing him for years. We have an interest in Gyökeres, and it feels like Ollie Watkins is a backup option. But according to reports in Italy, Arsenal apparently will sign Gyökeres, people. It's true that Arsenal have him in brackets Sesko in their sights, but Arsenal will sign Gyökeres because he wants to join Arsenal. Other clubs have tried to enter the race like Juventus, but he will go to Arsenal. I mean, fair enough. Juventus, Italian, there's a link there. And other strikers won't come if he goes there. He was their first target from the start, and now they have to find an agreement with Sporting. He'll be an Arsenal player. Hope so, because it's win now mode. We've been linked with Ademola Lookman. Apparently, we've restarted talks. I can't see us signing a 27-year-old Lookman and a 27-year-old Gyökeres or Eze. Now, I don't necessarily care about the age. I think they can do the job. We just know we're not going to do that. That's not how we operate. And then you also throw a bit different, but you throw a Kepa and a Nordgaard in. Obviously, I want to win now mode, but resale value is something with our club. There's not too many guys with years in the legs, if that makes sense, which is why I think we're going to pivot towards Sesko. It does appear Lookman's going to leave, show no interest in signing a new deal. Apparently, we've held initial talks with the versatile London board forward, while a string of other Premier League clubs are also said to be keeping tabs on him. Arsenal are tracking him. Apparently, he's got a 50 million, so that's 40 odd million euro asking price around him. Would you not have Lookman if you can't get an Eze or Rodrigo? Eze, I've covered this many a time, but apparently Arsenal are considering placing a bid for Eze after calling their interest in Rodrigo. Pardon me, we're still linked with Eze, we're still linked with Rodrigo, we're still linked with Morgan Rogers, and we'd all love one of those players. This weekend, we have been linked with Nicholas Jackson of Chelsea. I'm not going to go over that again. Bournemouth and Fulham are apparently fighting it out to sign Arsenal's Reece Nelson. We're not going to get the biggest of price tags, but he'll present something. I mean, more than anything, it's about shedding the wages above my pay grade. I'm just a fan, but you've got Jorginho who's gone. That was probably on 70, 80, maybe even 100. Zinni's on 100 odd. If you shave him off the wage bill, you get the picture I'm painting. Tini was on 100 odd. He's gone. This moment in time, Partey's going. You get rid of a Nelson who's on big money, and all the others that are on a 50, 60, etc. like the Lokongas, the Fabio Vieiras, and all the forgotten man. Whether we can get them all gone is another thing, but it starts to make our resources look a bit more rosier, if that makes sense. And then you can deviate some funds to give him Bukayo Saka, William Saliba new deals, and following on from Gabriel Magalhaes and Miles Lewis-Skelly. Wanyeri's got a lot. Sorry, Wanyeri, Saka, all of them need to sign new deals. What I meant to say is Andrea Berta's got a lot to do in it, people. Martinelli has been discussed by Al Nassr as a potential winger option, according to Ben Jacobs, but Luis Diaz remains the top target. He's been linked with Barcelona, Saudi Arabia, and Bayern Munich now. Arsenal are stepping up their pursuit of a premium winger with Eze on the shortlist. Can play as a 10, play as a left winger, play inside. Is he going to play left wing on a consistent basis for Arsenal? He has a release clause of 60 million, but there are complications around the required payment structure, meaning it wouldn't be a simple deal, according to the Telegraph. Now, we've also simultaneously heard rumours that Crystal Palace are open to be having 3 installments of 20 million. So the installments thing is right up our street. AFTV have said we're interested in Lookman, so maybe they know something we don't. Any thoughts on signing Dominic Calvert-Lewin? Apparently he's left Everton as a free agent. We were many a year, mainly the start of Mikel Arteta's tenure linked with him, people. Real Madrid have been clear with any player who wants to leave, bring an offer to the table. If it suits the club's demands, they can leave. The exit door remains open. So what does that mean for Rodrigo? But that means Rodrigo has to have an offer from Arsenal, etc., whoever is interested. And he also has to make clear he wants to leave. Has he done that? Will he do that? I don't know. I'm a big fan of Waltmade. I know we're not going to get him, but slowly but surely the Stuttgart and Germany international, under 21s international as well, commiserations, and big up Wanyeri, Brooke Norton-Coffey, and Amari Hutchison, and all the under-21s for winning that. He's turned down Chelsea and Napoli, people, so that might be one to watch closely.
Like